All right, today we're cracking open Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club. It's this book that makes a huge promise that you can totally revolutionize your life, all before you've even had your first cup of coffee. So, what's the big secret behind waking up at the crack of dawn? Let's get into it.
Now, this is not some new age fad. We're talking about a method Sharma has been teaching for over 20 years to some of the most successful people on the planet. We're talking business titans, sports legends, you name it. And it's all built on this one really powerful idea. And that idea really boils down to this one question. What if mastering just that first hour after you wake up, just 60 little minutes, could completely transform the entire rest of your life? Okay, so before we get into the how-to, we really got to understand the why. And the book actually wraps its whole philosophy up in a story, which starts with a pretty powerful truth about what it takes to really change. The book really frames the whole need for change with this one line. It's all about a choice that, we all face. You can either deal with the temporary pain of growing, or you can live with the permanent, heavy cost of regret.
And to really bring this home, the book introduces us to two characters who are at their absolute breaking point. There's an entrepreneur who, from the outside, has it all but feels completely empty. And there's this brilliant artist who's just paralyzed by self-doubt. They look successful, but inside they're just overwhelmed. And I think that's a feeling a lot of us can relate to.
So, right when they're about to give up, this catalyst for change just appears, and in the most unlikely disguise you could possibly imagine. Their mentor turns out to be a billionaire, but he's disguised as a homeless man. It's this wild contrast, right? His appearance is ragged, but the wisdom he shares is just profound. It's a great reminder that genius doesn't always come in a fancy package. And he makes them, and us as the reader, this one simple promise that becomes the heart of the entire book. Own your morning, elevate your life. Simple as that. So, how do you actually do it? How do you own your morning? Well, this brings us to the practical, nitty-gritty part of the 5 a.m. Club, the 20-20-20 formula. The formula happens during what Sharma calls the victory hour. Think of it as this golden window from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. It's an hour of total peace and quiet, dedicated entirely to you and your own growth, before the rest of the world wakes up and starts making demands. So the victory hour is broken down into 3 20-minute chunks. First, from 5 to 5:20, you move. We're talking intense exercise to get your blood pumping, and more importantly, to flush out cortisol. That's the stress hormone, the fear hormone. Next, from 5:20 to 5:40, you reflect. This is 20 minutes for journaling, meditating, or just planning your day to get some real clarity. And finally, from 5:40 to 6, you grow. Spend the last 20 minutes reading, listening to a podcast, studying, anything that expands your mind. But here's the thing, this 20-20-20 formula isn't just about ticking off boxes on a productivity checklist. No, it's a whole system designed to build a genuinely well-rounded life. The whole goal is to develop what the book calls your 4 interior empires. It's not enough to just have a sharp mindset. You also have to work on your heart set, your emotional health, your health set, your physical well-being, and your soul set, your connection to a bigger purpose. This routine is designed to feed all 4 every single day, because if you let one crumble, the others can come crashing down too. And this leads to a really crucial idea about what it means to be a top performer. We have this idea that mastery is about grinding 24/7, but that's just a one-way ticket to burnout. Real, long-term success comes from finding a balance, a rhythm between performance and recovery. Sharma calls this mastering the twin cycles. On one hand, you absolutely have to push yourself during your high excellence cycle, those periods of intense, deep work. But, and this is just as important, you have to schedule time for the deep refueling cycle. That means actual rest, fun, and recovery. One without the other is just not sustainable. So how does this one little hour in the morning lead to such huge, life-changing results? Well, it all comes down to the power of compounding. The whole idea is that small daily wins start to build on each other. You win your morning, which helps you win your day. Winning your days turns into winning your weeks. It creates this incredible upward spiral that eventually leads to a really exceptional life. Of course, the idea itself is pretty simple, but actually doing it, that takes real commitment. This is not a magic pill. It's a daily practice that builds your character through sheer consistency and discipline, day in and day out. And really, the book's final message is this. By taking control of that first hour, you're not just changing your schedule, you're actually upgrading your identity. So the only question that's really left is, what will you become?